Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from the host, Imperial Dane, featuring today a 1 versus 1 on Langres. We shall be watching Tititwister fighting for the Americans, fighting for the 3rd Armored Division. Opposing him shall be TourneyofMaccaroni, fighting for the Wehrmacht, fighting for the Elite Panzer there. We are seeing what amounts to a standard start from both players. 2 engineers, 2 pioneers, but note here, TourneyofMaccaroni immediately sets about focusing down on the Wehrmacht quarters, which could indicate he might be hoping for an MG or a bite out a bit faster, sacrificing a bit in initial capturing for other means. And there we go, we do see that Tititwister spreading a bit, but also note he's doing what is known as cap walking. Don't ask me how to do it, because I don't know, and I don't really care. But it is certainly something to note. Again, it's a mark of the higher level player, or at least some of them, basically having one unit walk ahead of the rest to again immediately take another point. So that is a bit vital to remember. Pioneers heading towards a fuel there, heading up towards the strategic point there, and there we go. In fact, we do see an MG42 first up there. So again, TourneyofMaccaroni focusing quickly on getting their quarters out and then rushing out an MG42, which could very likely indicate he's already got an idea of where he wants to place it. Otherwise, I mean, this is again a risky business, and apparently it's just here. That's a bit on the weirder hand, but there you go. Not necessarily what I expect from an MG rush, but may God be with him and all that. We are seeing some Raven heading in from the north. Engineers continue on the far flanks. In fact, looks like Twister is heading straight for the victory point. And there we go, we see a bike out probably there to lead the way for the MG42. And there we go, in fact, the MG42 first moves as the bike clears the way. Riflemen from Twister, though, taking up position inside the house, getting a nice dominating position again. Note, they can see considerably farther now, giving Twister a good idea of what's going on. And he does see the bike as well. The bike going straight for the engineers up here, hoping to harass. Bit of a bold move there, while the MG42 actually remains down there. I don't think the bike will be able to stop the engineers from taking the fuel point, or actually I might be wrong. It's actually doing alright, at least delaying the capping quite severely, in fact, although the bike needs to be careful. It's actually taking a bit of damage, and we do see now that Twister is sending up a second squad of riflemen to help in this. The bike quickly and deviously rolls away on the far flank. In the meanwhile, though, TourneyofMaccaroni heading towards the center. No connection there, though. No connection. That's a bit bold and a bit curious. First Grenadier squad now out for TourneyofMaccaroni. I imagine we'll be seeing a 3rd squad arriving on the way for Twister, who finally abandons the premises right there with the building and heads down south. Although, of course, the MG42 there could still prove to be a nuisance, if not a threat. There we go, securing the strategic point, but at the same time as he's done doing that, of course, an engineer squad moves in to harass the munitions zone. It actually moves on. Looks like Twister has something else in mind. Fulton's moving up there to support the bike also there. Rather than getting caught out in the open, engineer squad taking up position at least to deny, but probably also provide just line of sight. Ensure that the Wehrmacht can't provide any sneaky little surprises against Twister. Wehrmacht quarters getting ready. Rifle advancing there from Twister. Bit of a wave assault going in there. MG42 actually moved. Oh dear, TourneyofMaccaroni. But there we go. Rifle going to call out in the open. There we go. MG42 unleashes death. And we do see the Rifle actually quickly getting out of there. Nicely done by Twister, realizing he could not win. He retreats. Lovely, lovely. Munitions falling to the Wehrmacht rather quickly. TourneyofMaccaroni's current position looking quite alright. Engineers here coming under fire. Fulton Grenadiers following up. Engineers going to get pushed away. MG42 setting up. And there we go. Oh, Twister. Oh, very close to getting the munitions, but he doesn't quite succeed. The Fulton, the pioneers now arrive, and we do see the engineers are finally pushed away, denying Twister that satisfaction. At the same time, Riflemen going for the fuel point are getting suppressed, or the Riflemen trying to push in, but we see a second MG42 up for TourneyofMaccaroni, providing a much denser belt of heavy machine gun fire. Fulton is switch about. Bike getting repaired again. TourneyofMaccaroni always doing his best, apparently, to keep that bike maintained and well oiled and everything else. That is a good move. Riflemen make it into the house, although they are quite low on health. Fulton is pushing in, and note here, Sandbag's going down to ensure that he's going to have the advantage against the troops inside the house. Nice move there by TourneyofMaccaroni. How shall Twister break out of this one? And Twister, by the way, has 3 rifleman squads, and he's already building a supply yard, so it could be that Twister is actually going to try for an armoured car rush, and there we go. In fact, we do see the motor pool going up, so only 3 riflemen, and Twister is trying to sort of throw his opponent off the guard by going for the armoured car rush, hoping that way he can deviously surprise Mr. TourneyofMaccaroni, and that actually looks like the case. I mean, we're seeing 2 MG42s, do we see 2 Fultz Grenadiers, we're also seeing a sniper at the very least, but also a bike, no 2 Fultz Grenadiers, but even then that's going to be a bit of a dense tier 1. From here though, take intense machine gun fire, getting caught between the MG42 and the bike, taking heavy damage, heavy losses. Oh dear, down to 2 men, and looks like they will make it out of there, although with quite a beating to remind them of to be careful around the Wehrmacht. MG taking up position in the barn. We do see some riflemen sneak about the south here. No doctrine for Twister as of yet. Sniper advancing, Fultz gun is nearby. Rifleman managed to get snipe in the face. And another shot from the sniper ends another American life.
Territory sector being captured.
And looks like we are in fact seeing another Fultz Grenade squad, so that's 2 Fultz Grenades, 2 MGs, sniper, and a bike. That's a bit of the heavier tier 1s, and already now, Twister is getting an armoured car. I mean, this is definitely going to be a bit of a problem for TourneyofMaccaroni, because soon he will be hit by something which he's probably not expecting. At least not this fast. Also note here, we do see that Twister's pushing forward towards the cutoff point, but Maccaroni, but note here that Twister's then actually just saying, alright then, if you want to play like that, then I'm not going to play your game. Instead, we do see that TourneyofMaccaroni seems to be shifting more towards the west then, towards things where he can't be so easily locked down by TourneyofMaccaroni. Although, of course, we do see that TourneyofMaccaroni is definitely going to do his damn best to ensure that happens, so that he gets locked down, and there we go. Greyhound out. Initially actually intended as a tank destroyer, and they were right out managed to fulfill that role. I did see a lot of other roles, in fact, used. And there we go. Armored skirts up. Fultz guns coming under fire. 50 caliber soon as well. And the note, we do see a mine there, but that's overall really what is there for TourneyofMaccaroni to really deal with the armored car, that and Panzerfaust. And already there, Fultz Gun squad on the retreat, and we do see that Twister definitely has a nice chance now of turning the tables on TourneyofMaccaroni, but will Twister be able to sort of get through the sufficient amount of momentum and initiative to really do some damage, take some territory, and cause TourneyofMaccaroni a considerable headache? Greyhound getting a bit stuck in the way there. Kriegbergs, though, is going up for TourneyofMaccaroni. He is rather brilliant. Of course, he needs that very much now. There's a Greyhound loose, and Twister being very conservative with this Greyhound, and he's definitely giving more time for TourneyofMaccaroni to actually get the counter, to get the pag up, and to stop Twister in his tracks. I'm not entirely sure that's a good idea. Of course, there's the threat of mines, but I mean, it's going to require a bit more than one to take out the Greyhound with armored skirts on. MG here takes a hit, goes off. We still have the bike as well. The question is, how will this continue? And again, he pulls away the Greyhound. Again, very conservative play going on there from Twister. Not trying to push the advantage. Not trying to inflict as many blows as possible. And again, giving actually TourneyofMaccaroni all the time he needs to sort of, get a pack up and to defend, because again, Twister is being very timid. He's apparently assuming there's a pack around every corner. And there we go, though. He finally gets Panzerfaust, although, of course, he'll continue doing some terrible damage to the Fultz Grenadiers right there. And we do see that TourneyofMaccaroni is forced to abandon this area, but at the same time, I mean, the central position is still up. And again, the overall damage done to TourneyofMaccaroni by Twister is actually quite limited. Again, I can't help but feel that was a miss move right there by Twister. We do see a weapon support today going out for Twister. He's probably going to try and get a counter sniper to deal with the crowd bastard with the scoped Gewehr 43, which was used for a sniper rifle, but I do believe the Kar 98K was more preferred for snipering duties. Fultz Gun is advancing, sniper sticking him out behind. Die Scharfschütze has the armies in his sights. And Kampfkraftcenter going up there, good move. Grenadiers now arriving up for TourneyofMaccaroni, and we're likely to be seeing some veterancy, likely veterancy too. Bit of sneaking going on there, good, good. Volksgunners moving in to counter-attack. Push a base to the yank, and there we go, direct hit on the armor car. The armor car that quickly swings about to the headthroats, or semi-quickly. But there we go, out of range, and again, I mean, TourneyofMaccaroni doing his best to lock down Twister within his space, and of course it'll come down to Twister to sort of try and get around this, and again he does have a nice open front here. He could try and again break through and do some damage to parts for it, if you sort of notice. TourneyofMaccaroni doesn't actually have a lot there. I mean, this is quite a weak spot. He could even try and sort of sneak up there, although we, the viewers, know there's mine here, but of course Twister doesn't, though it's a very common spot for a mine, of course. I mean, it's no guarantee he'll run into it right away. But barracks coming under fire there from the pack. And there we go, we do see the Twister, instead of opting for a direct assault, instead goes to try and hit the flank. Again, he's not going to try and hit where TourneyofMaccaroni is prepared to get hit. He's going to hit him where it's not, and he's going to force Maccaroni to come to him, because just as the Wehrmacht are great on assault, so they're less great on assault. And again, having to attack them can, forcing them to attack can of course have advantages for Twister, if he can get pulled off the right. And there we go, we do see the back moving in. Oh dear, he might actually spot the sniper, and there we go. Oh dear, Twister sniper's already in the spot. He's not fired a single shot, but already now TourneyofMaccaroni knows that Twister has a sniper. He of course knows more about what's then going on in the base of Twister, and of course what he can then do and what he can't do. That is definitely a bit unfortunate right there for Twister. A bit of his game right there revealed before he was actually ready to play his cards. Let's see. Just a bit of random nonsense there, but Pioneer's getting pushed off. But the armor car pushing in as well. We're seeing a mine there, nicely placed actually. Volksgunners getting run off, Riven taking up position there, going for the high munitions. We are seeing that TourneyofMaccaroni is actually diverting forces away from here. He knows this is not where the hotspot is. It's right here. It's by his high munitions. It's by his victory point, of course. Now he has to leg it back, and of course going to risk running straight. And we see the sniper could go down. Oh, the biker went down. The sniper barely alive. His body riddled with bullets, he's bleeding, but he's still sniped, crouched for Uncle Sam. And there we go, Volksgrenadier bites the dust as they hold up behind a fence, taking fire from the Greyhound and rifling inside the house. Pack opens up the Greyhound, forcing it away. Volksgrenadier's going to head up and flank. We do see the sniper wisely retreating right there. Twister knowing he probably could easily end up losing him if things go sour, so instead he decides to get them out of there. When there's still time for it. Volksgrenadier's going to try and see if they can't flank about, coming under fire from the Greyhound, providing a nice covering position of this junction. But the Rifle off in the house are forced out. The fire being inflicted upon them by the Germans is simply too great. And we are seeing Veteran 2 on the way for the Wehrmacht Infantry. Panzerlehr Panzerdivision fighting on with its Panzergrenadiere. And there we go, we do see a full retreat, but at the same time we also see now there's only an MG left. The pack is far away, far removed, allowing the Greyhound to actually move through there. So, again, that can show the value of attacking from another angle. You will force your opponent to have to shift forces. In the case of an armored car, shift the pack, opening up for, again, another front. And now notice, now this is open. Again, this is more accessible. This is a lot more easier to hold resources overall. So now, of course, it's a good chance for Twister to move back out. But he didn't have a Trier center up. And most of his troops are in a condition best described as miserable. But there we go, Trier center up. Sniper sneak out. So a second sniper up for Twister. He's relying on two snipers. And a mine went off, killing TourneyofMaccaroni's sniper. Oh, dear. That's definitely going to hurt, and that's definitely going to be an encouragement for Twister's sniper. But of course, the question is, will Twister be aware that it was actually a sniper that went off there? That's a bit of the tricky part, but though it looks like TourneyofMaccaroni had a mine there, stopping the rifle and taking the victory point. Nicely done, nicely done. And of course, still no barracks, no upgrades for the rifleman, or additional riflemen for that matter. No taking up there, but we do see a replacement sniper for TourneyofMaccaroni. We also see he's actually got 2 squads of Grenadiers. And we do see the MG here getting sniped. We'll need to get away from Grenadiers moving up there on the flank. Engineers going for the munitions are getting suppressed by the MG42. More German infantry being rushed here to the gap. And the defenses pretty much meaning that frontal bit completely wide open. MG gets decrewed. That could actually be a nice opportunity for Twister to try and rush it and take it, but apparently he decides otherwise. Pack relocates again. Grenadiers advancing quickly, getting sniped. And note, Veteran 22 Grenadiers are extremely vulnerable to sniper fire. They have something called elite armor, which protects against small arms fire, but makes them more vulnerable to flamethrowers and snipers. Even on the retreat, a sniper is always guaranteed a kill on a Veteran 22 Grenadier. Same applies to Rangers from the Americans. So, slight fun fact there, for those that did not know. And we are seeing a barrage going up for Twister again, so he might be trying to get more infantry, or he might simply need some upgrades. And of course, BARs would definitely be very good against an now Veteran 2 infantry. Grenadiers were almost down. Could this have been a slightly too late retreat? We could see the snipers take them out. Oh, and the Grenadier squad went down again, showing you have to be extremely careful with Veteran 2 Grenadiers when you know there are snipers about. In this case, Twister was able to get off the surprise, and we do see a Stu 42 being sent in from a nearby assault gun brigade, as Stu 42s were not organically part of a Panzer division, they were more part of independent assault gun brigades, or Sturmgeschützbrigaden, where there would usually be a mix of Stuks and Stu 42s, and then they'd be sent wherever needed, which could be a Panzer division, it could be an infantry division, or something else. But they were usually much more independent units. But we do see Stu 42 advancing, and I'm not entirely sure what TourneyofMaccaroni is doing with the Stu 42 right there. And that seems to have been a very odd decision for him to make right there. And we do see an anti-tank it up, and we do see the Greyhound doing what it can, already doing a bit of damage there to the Stu 42. Again, I'm a bit confused there by TourneyofMaccaroni, mildly put. And there we go, Stu 42 comes under fire from the 57mm anti-tank. We see Stu 42 finding a way, killing the gunners. But that's about it. Oh, very lucky there that the shot actually bounced off the front of the armor. MG42 remains over here, ready to cover this area and keep the fuel and the high munitions a bit clear of American gangsters. Twister, though, has been forced back, although he's not suffered any sort of dire and drastic, if not downright tragic losses. There's still a good chance for Twister to break out. Although, looks like he's actually short of a rifleman squad. I must have missed that one getting lost.
Ready?
And we see Airborne doctrine. We see a recon run. Oh dear, he's trying to get the German sniper. Doesn't quite succeed. Instead, we see the pack cleared out, which should be an opening for the Greyhound to rush in and cause havoc. But a recon run, we're seeing Airborne versus Blitzkrieg. That's actually been a bit tough. And there we go, strafing run, pinning down the German infantry. Even the sniper doesn't quite kill him. I imagine that Twister did this actually to kill the sniper, but sometimes you don't quite get it. Nonetheless, there's pretty much a huge gap right here. Volksguns continue to advance despite being pinned, and they could get sniped. Yes, snipers got the Volksgun. His Greyhound continues to wreak havoc. The center is complete chaos after a few solid strafing and recon runs from Twister, completely collapsing the center of the Panzer Division. And we see the sniper went down. TourneyofMaccaroni lost another sniper. That's the second sniper down. And we see Veteran 22 for the Greyhound giving it increased penetration, which largely won't do that much against the Stu 42, at least not from the front. But definitely going to be a problem. Another pack, they're on the way for TourneyofMaccaroni, of course. And we do see that Twister immediately sets about repurposing the Kraut 1. And we see a Goliath sneaking in. So much goodness in this match. And it misses. The Goliath gets behind and completely wrecks the anti-tank gun and the crew. Doom and destruction. The Greyhound with a destroyed engine. The Stu 42 gets it. And we see a swift counterattack going in from TourneyofMaccaroni, mustering whatever he can. There are still the two snipers, but he took out an anti-tank gun with a Goliath. Oh, and the Stu 42 blows up the cover of the infantry. Oh dear.
We are ready to push back the Yankees.
And we see stormtroopers being called in for TourneyofMaccaroni. He could try and actually get assault rifles for them and basically just try and hunt down the snipers that way, cloaking up and sneaking up behind and then just shooting them in the back like any sniper deserves.
Here.
But of course that depends if he actually can do it. We don't actually have an indicator that he actually has tier 3. Falcons here versus the engineers. Forces moving up the flank. Stu 42 remaining in the center. Needs a bit of infantry, would be a good move to make it a bit tougher to deal with for Les Twister. And it's actually time to return to the twisty one. Snipers opening up in the Falcons, who are definitely running a marathon right there. And a bit more of an unusual one, since they will be shot at by snipers. With 3 riflemen squads, he could try and consider tank depot or some airborne, but perhaps would recall his rifles. We see the Stu 42 moving up there. And where are the stormtroopers? The Stoßtruppen? They are there, sneaking about in the darkness. And another recon run. He's likely trying to, of course, get an idea what's going on in the base of TourneyofMaccaroni, but of course also spot anything going up the center. But so far looks like that TourneyofMaccaroni might be preparing for a left swing, or perhaps a right one. Either way, does not look like to be, at least initially, the case that he's going to head into the center. The stormtroopers continue their hunt for snipers, while it looks like TourneyofMaccaroni is making the push. Robin here getting stopped by an MG42 at the far edge of the map. And there the assault go. The assault commences. MG42 needs to set up in the center. Foster's coming up, move left flank, getting stopped by sniper fire. Quite intense, quickly ending the lives of several of them. But we do know now, of course, that where the snipers are, at least TourneyofMaccaroni knows. And he's going to be sending in his stormtroopers to try and get them. Grenadiers get sniped. He's very close, and there we go. The stormtroopers, but they hit a mine. They hit a mine straight in front of the stormtroopers. Oh no, the sneak attack went poorly. They're suppressed and they're getting sniped. TourneyofMaccaroni needs to get them out of them. There we go, but it might be too late. They're down to 2 men and they are 2 snipers. No, he makes it past the hedgerows. The last stormtrooper alive makes it out of there. But that definitely did not go right. And we do actually see now, we do see the Sturm army going up, also meaning he does now have the tier required to get the Sturmgewehr for stormtroopers, allowing them to actually, if they pop on a sniper, to quickly finish them, or for that matter any other infantry they will stumble upon. So that's a bit of a good news there. Bit of resources being floated by Twister at the moment. He could certainly go for a tank depot. He's already got 1 supply to upgrade, that's good, but he could of course go for airborne infantry or another rifleman squad. The options are many. It rather depends on how he wants to play. But Stu 42 advancing up the center. Also got munitions for another strafing run if he so desires to punish the Kraut for being a Kraut.
What are my coordinates?
This is interesting. He's actually setting up a machine gun emplacement to cover the central victory point. Interesting usage of resources. Not what I would expect, at least at this stage of the fight, but certainly could work out. And I hear Goliath sneaking up the far west flank. Oh, TourneyofMaccaroni, you do have your surprises.
The Huns are taking our territory.
There we go, trying to connect his fuel. Snipers moving about. Goliath moving up there. Going in after the rifleman. Yeah, rifleman coming in front. And there we go. Oh, and he detonated. He didn't even kill us. I think he might have killed 1 rifleman. That was about it. So that was a bit of a waste of good munitions. But note, barbed wire going up here, going to cover his flanks, so no infantry can just move up and flank the machine gun replacement too swiftly. Pioneers pushed over on the right flank. Twister is under a bit of pressure, mildly put, at the moment. And we see that TourneyofMaccaroni is getting ready for a flank assault right there. Well, we see the Stormtroopers come out, and they do spot an anti-tank gun instead. They got a bit cut off in an advance of Twister. And it looks like a rifle squad could go down to the Stormtroopers. They are fully equipped with assault rifles. And there we go, strafing run going in. And we see them running away. They've quickly lost 2 men. We see a BAR left behind. And oh no!
Enemy.
Oh, that was 150 munitions down the drain. Oh. He did get a rifleman squad, but I mean, 375 munitions and 150 munitions is a bit expensive just to get a single squad of riflemen. Oh dear, the inhumanity. Though I imagine that Twister's quite pleased with himself right there. And with that we hear the sound of the Needlewerfer unleashing Rocket Doom. Though not quite hitting anything. Another recon run. Just try and spot any crowds. Spots the pack. First Grenadier gets sniped. And we do see that Twister is now advancing on all fronts, which is good. Less good so though for TourneyofMaccaroni, who's the one who is taking the losses. Attempted pushing up here. The snipers are definitely doing a nasty job. The Stu 42 hits his own men. Come on, Fritz. Try to be careful with where you're aiming. And there we go, another retreat from TourneyofMaccaroni's infantry as Twister once more unleashes a nasty sniper volley, dropping TourneyofMaccaroni's men like flies. But a Needlewerfer definitely will prove advantageous for TourneyofMaccaroni, adding a bit of rocket fire. Smaller force here trying to deal with the riflemen. Not quite having full success. Still no veterancy for the armor though. Still no veterancy. That's a bit of a shame. And what is going on now? We see another rifleman squad to not just replace the one that is lost, which has already been replaced, but also another one to add in some more infantry effort right there for Twister. Another recon run. Another Needlewerfer barrage. And there we go, Stormtroopers again. Another squad trying to make the move, but again, oh, Twister, you're playing a bit of a dangerous game, but this time they can make it about the hedgerows. Very close, a little, very closely. Sniper's actually very close to getting hit by rockets, and both are veterancy free at the moment. Oh, no. Oh, Sniper went down to the mine. He lost one of his veterancy free snipers to, of all things, a mine. Oh, the... Well, I'm pretty sure TourneyofMaccaroni is pleased about that one, since that means less snipers running around cloaked. Because when American snipers reach veterancy free, they can run at full speed while cloaked. And we do see some MP40s being equipped for some of the Volksguns, increasing their firepower quite considerably. Sniper doing what he can, and there we go. We do see that finally Tititwister's machine gun replacement is revealed quite some time after, but nonetheless, it serves its purpose. It's not something that TourneyofMaccaroni is going to be immediately aware of. It's not going to be something he can just immediately deal with. It's going to be something he's going to have to fight through the initial front lines of Twister 4-track to reach. Unless he decides to flank up here, I suppose, in which case he could actually do quite nicely. Ravnia coming out of home to do and another recon run. Quite insistent on those, constantly trying to ensure he does not run his sniper into trouble, I imagine. But of course, also to keep an eye on what is going on in the base of TourneyofMaccaroni. And there we go, another Needlewerfer barrage may it actually kill something this time around. Suppressing, pinning. Still not quite killing.
We got crowds here!
The Huns are taking our territory.
But there we go. Actually burns up a rifleman with its incendiary payload. Preparing the Stu 42. MGs and Pioneers holding up the left flank. And there goes Stormtroopers ambushing the riflemen. Quickly shooting the living snot out of them. While Volksguns lead another part of the assault with their MP40s. And we do see that Twister's current center is a bit exposed. I mean, if the infantry just keeps out of that, I mean, they're going to be safe. And looks like they are, in fact, going to stay out of that bit. We do see one of the anti-tank guns getting overwhelmed, and that is the American one. And there we go. Sniper needs to get quickly out of there. The pack is now left behind as well. Sniper actually reveals himself. Unit went down. Looks like a Grenadier squad or Volksguard squad went... No, that's actually the Grenadiers, I fear. That went down right there for TourneyofMaccaroni. And there we go. Stormtroopers and Volksguards retreat as a wave of riflemen push themselves and literally throw themselves at the opponent. A lot of back and forth fighting. I mean, one moment the one has the upper hand, the other next moment the other one hasn't. So again, there's a lot of back and forth fighting. There's a lot of more tense stools, a lot of flanking, a lot of trying to figure out where is the opponent strongest, where he's weakest, and where can we bloody well do the most damage, which is good. Let's go look at TourneyofMaccaroni, who, oh, he can get a tiger now. He can get the Tiger. Die mächtige Tiger. That's definitely going to be a bit of fun. Granted, less so for Tititwister, who's going to be on the receiving end. Rather advancing up, coming under fire from the MG42. Tiger fires. First shot of the day is a complete miss. Tank depot on the way for Twist, and that's definitely going to be in very much need now as we do see a Tiger rolling in. There's still no veterancy for the armor. I'm a bit disappointed in that. Rather than there getting stopped by the MG42 on the far left. Tiger advancing up the center. Rifleman, anti-tank, and holding up the center. I mean, there's definitely a bit of panic, I imagine, going on there with Twister. He's got a Tiger on the loose, and he's not quite got the tools for dealing with TourneyofMaccaroni's Tiger tank. Well, in this case, this would not have been from a heavy tank battalion, but from the Funkline-Abteilung, which was actually the unit that controlled Goliaths. And the Panzerlehr, in fact, had such a battalion attached to it, so... I mean, it actually makes sense to have Goliaths and Tigers with him. And meanwhile, Volkswagen's finding over the Rifleman alongside an MG42. Rifleman taking a bit of a beating. Taking a bit of damage here. Other Rifleman getting suppressed. Swiftly and viciously. And there we go. Sniper going to get pushed off himself. Rifleman pinned. Rifleman off. Tiger moving towards the west. And Engineers heading straight into mine. Getting pinned. Alongside some Riflemen a bit further behind. And there we go. Twister beats a hasty retreat as the Tiger makes an entrance. And this house is ready to collapse. Not exactly the soundest of structures anymore. And Stormtroopers causing an absolute mess behind Twister's lines as he clears out an anti-tank. And there we go, using the Tiger to break through the barrage and flank the machine gun emplacement and even open up an entrance for, say, any infantry to move in. But so far there seems to be nothing supporting the Tiger, which is a bit of a damn shame. And we do finally see some veterans who won for TourneyofMaccaroni's armor as his 242 gets pushed away by the pack. Rifleman advancing straight into the MG42, getting suppressed, taking losses. Rifleman moving up on the other flank. Continuing the infantry advance approach. Tank depot not really seeing any usage. Tiger continues to deal away with the machine gun emplacement. While a Sherman is out and going nuts on the Stu 42, although the Sherman is taking fire from the Pack 38. Pack decrewed. Definitely a problem. But Veteran 2 and a sticky bomb on the Stu 42. Stormtroopers moving in. Might even clear out the Rifleman. We do see Veteran 2. The Rifleman need to retreat quickly. Get out of there. But the Stormtroopers might be able to finish them off on the run as their assault rifles spit out copious amounts of lead. But a strafing run saves Twister's newly minted Veteran 2 Rifleman. Blah. That did not work out well. Verbally, anyways. And there we go. Excellent shot from the Tiger. Just wipes out 5 Americans in one glorious shot of German marksmanship. Tiger, though, exposing its flank to anti-tank guns. And it is the Pack 38, which Twister, much earlier in the fight, stole from TourneyofMaccaroni. And I do believe it's actually time for the mid-game analysis. Oh, the fun. Current situation is... we do see Twister having a nice wedge in between the territories of TourneyofMaccaroni. But on the other hand, TourneyofMaccaroni does have one considerable advantage currently. That is the Tiger tank. That can actually cause a lot of damage and problems for Twister. And he's got some infantry to actually support, although he has suffered losses. He's got no grenadiers, and he's actually down to 2 infantry squads. So he might need some more, and he could, of course, also consider a medic bunker. But overall, I think he should just push up there and continue to sneak in some units there and, just beat up Twister, on the other hand, Twister needs to take some more territory. He needs to continue the harassment, and he needs to keep the Tiger occupied, if not just outright destroy it, if possible. And for that, he's definitely going to need some more tank destroyers, and some tanks, and he's going to need something to clear out any anti-tank guns that could be covering the Tiger tank. Otherwise, he could find any armored assault on the Tiger tank to quickly go sour. So let's return to the fight. Tiger getting pushed away. Continued anti-tank gun fire rain against the 100mm actually frontal armor. And there we go. Rifle push away. The Pioneers coming under fire from a sniper. Another sniper actually out for Twister. Oh, that's actually the same one with 32 kills. Quite bloody impressive.
We defend the fatherland until death.
Oh dear, Pioneer unit went down for TourneyofMaccaroni. And we are seeing a bunker going up, likely going to be a repair bunker considering the positioning. Another recon run. And Sherman needs to be careful right there.
Americans are seizing territory from us.
A third Goliath from TourneyofMaccaroni. He certainly seems to like his Goliaths. Fultz Grenadiers sniped. Sherman opens up on the Fultz Grenadiers. And there we go, Pack gets off a nice hit on the side armor of the Sherman, considerably weaker. And there we go, another hit taken down to almost half health. And there we go, Panzerfaust gets it down. And that's definitely going to force the Sherman to pull back a bit, lest it faces total destruction at the hands of some German bastard, possibly even one with a Panzerfaust. And there we go, Goliath once more sneaks in, most likely going to try another move at an anti-tank gun rifle. They're rushing in. They have seen what is going on. They're not going to lose any more comrades to the dastardly Goliath. Sherman shoots and misses, and the Goliath gets there right behind the Pack and blows it up, killing the crew and wrecking the anti-tank gun. So another Goliath, another anti-tank gun down. Absolutely quite impressive. Lovely to see that. Definitely a bit unorthodox, but definitely actually works out. Though it is a bit dependent on the fact that Twister tends to focus his forces a bit and again not establish a continuous front line, which again allows TourneyofMaccaroni to actually sneak in forces. Tiger still under repairs, although we might see a repair bunker soon. Another recon run. Spotting the stormtroopers, revealing them a bit. Looking a bit silly in the middle of the road. Second Sherman out, the third armor is definitely adding in the armor now. Tiger advances, a bit lonely, no support. And another Needlewerfer on the way, and support veterancy on the way. Full TourneyofMaccaroni. So small Needlewerfer battery to deal with American forces. That's going to be a good move. Although it's currently not really much anti-tank gun, that's the worries. And of course, currently the Sherman's not going to do that much unless they get upgunned and he perhaps gets another one. Then they could actually pose a considerable threat to the Tiger tank. Going for the strategic point right there, lovely. Veteran support units, so Needlewerfers will be firing a bit faster. We do see the Shermans actually moving out of the way, and oh dear, he actually upgunned his Shermans. And we actually also see an anti-tank gun there, and there we go, the Tiger's getting attacked. Both Shermans fire in, looks like at least some of the shots penetrate the frontal armor. Rifleman going to move up from the flank, there's nothing to cover it. The Tiger is in fact a bit on its own, the Fulskers are nearby, but they occupy within a rifleman squad. Shermans though need to keep moving, and we do need to see an attempt at actually knocking out the Tiger. No, the Shermans have stopped, they're not bothering. Sticky bomb on the Tiger tank. Only one Sherman moves out there, so clearly it might be that Twister is not going to be dealing with this Tiger tank right away anyways, but there we go, they'll just deal with everything else as the Tiger has in fact been forced away, and that's definitely going to leave a bit of an opportunity nonetheless for Twister to do some damage. But we do see that TourneyofMaccaroni perhaps realizes he can't keep the Tiger off the field for that much long either, and needs to get it back in the fight as quickly as possible to deal with the Yankees. And we do see a repair bunker going up. And back to the fighting, stabilizing the front line with Shermans and anti-tank guns. Stormtroopers going to sneak in, possibly drop a bundled grenade. And Stugs now arrive for TourneyofMaccaroni. The Sturmgeschütz. And there we go, full needle of barrage going to bombard the entire center. That could actually catch a few units. And there we go, riflemen, anti-tank guns getting hit. Engineers could risk getting blown to bits and burned to crisp. And there we go, the Stormtroopers catch the anti-tank gun. Finish off the crew. And not quite as an expedient manner as one could have hoped, but nonetheless succeeds. Stug slowly rolls forward, and we do see that Twister is forced to abandon his front line as it suddenly becomes incredibly exposed. And one single lonely Stug advances. Sniper quickly gets out of the way, realizing it would not be very good for his health if he remained there. Dum dum. More Shermans arriving for Twister, adding a full 3 76mm gun Shermans to his arsenal. And the Tiger wrecks an anti-tank gun. And there we go, the Shermans advancing and oh, come on, Twister. Don't twist them about. The great retreat of the armoured platoon right there from Twister. Then turning them out again. Looks like he's making ready for something. At least I hope so. Sniper opens up, gets an aim. A full Grenadier. Packs are moving up. Could be good with an in-depth defense. What is he planning, man? We were seeing a decent spread over there. We're seeing Stormtroopers getting spot on the flank. Quick to run off. Definitely going to help a bit there on the assault. And there we go. Stug comes under fire. TourneyofMaccaroni advanced it a bit too far and took the wrath of the Shermans. Rifleman gets stopped by the Stu 42 or something on the far flank. Niebler is unleashed and looks like the assault is going in. Or can it be? Oh, he's got a bombing run ready. He's got the munitions for it. He could be. Could he be planning something with it? Come on, Twister. Make up your mind. Damn it. And that Sherman needs to point in the right direction.
Enemy unit down.
And there we go. Sniper actually gets the pack on the far flank. More Niebler for rockets. Looks like the flanks have been largely forgotten. Oh, poor drop right there by the anti-tank. Right in front of the false gunners. And there we go. Rockets going in, stopping the engineers from repairing the Shermans. And could open up. And there we go. We do see the Tiger moving up. The false gunners are keeping the anti-tank and occupied. The Airborne are forced to deal with it. But what is this? A bombing run. Bombing run. Yes, going in. Oh, doesn't quite connect. The Tiger was able to get somewhat out of it. So the end of Sherman out of control. Stug largely healthy as well. No attempt for example securing this anti-tank gun first. Two Shermans will continue. The one is heavily damaged. Could go down. Could go down. The rifle is still not doing anything. Second Stug mean popping up. The Stug goes down. The first one is down, but the Sherman needs to get out of there. Oh dear, everything that could have gone wrong with that assault did go wrong.
Base is under enemy fire.
And at the same time, assault-equipped troops are sneaking about here, intercepting anyone retreating away from the main fight. And the Sherman exposing its rear to the Tiger, though largely, front, rear, not going to do much against a Tiger when you're a Sherman, but it's the thought that counts, I suppose. And there we go, Sherman going to get panzerprised by false grenade before he gets crushed, or was it the backblast simply that killed him? Assault grenades going in, a blunt grenade would have worked better, I think. But there we go, the Sherman continues to advance. We do see Nebelwerfers being pushed forward. The Stug, the Tiger, the Stormtroopers getting run off. Victory points are going down for TourneyofMaccaroni. We are seeing him pushing forwards with actually what little he has left. He's not been able to replace a lot of the infantry, so he doesn't actually have a lot to take territory with, and what he had was just sent off. Two Shermans, though, are still operational for Twister. The engineers are immediately set onto the task of getting those Shermans battle ready again. Well, the repair bunker pioneers are likely going to be at work as well, trying to put together those panzers. Well, the Panzer and the Sturmgeschütz. Sniper though moves up, likely going to try and get off a few lucky shots against pioneers, going to delay the repair work for TourneyofMaccaroni. Definitely a clever move, definitely a clever move. Airborne now popping in for Twister right in front of the MD-42, though the MD-42 is getting snapped. We do see the Stug moving about, trying to crush and kill, and the Airborne getting caught right there. We do see heroic fire up actually to take it, but they are immediately taking losses from the MD fire, from the Stug fire. The high explosive rounds are simply thinning out the numbers, so is the machine gun fight, down to 3 Airborne. Though they do manage to run to the point neutral, but will it be enough? No, he's sticking on. Twister's sticking on. The Volkskriegs are moving in. Get out of there, Twister. Save your Airborne, and I fear it might be too late now. No, the Riflemen do manage to shield up, but the Volkskriegs are going to go in for an assault. And there we go, the grenades fly at the Riflemen. Stunning and wounding, even possibly killing. Riflemen not doing too well there. England getting suppressed now. And the Needlewerfers unleash another rocket barrage. Blowing up some trees, suspected of actually being American spies. Needlewerfers advancing. I mean, TourneyofMaccaroni is actually putting a lot now out in the open, which could actually prove to be a bit of a trap if Twister pulls off the right thing. For example, if he moves in the Germans from here, he could actually strike at one of the Needlewerfers. In fact, some of the support units from a point where they are not actually ready to defend. But will Twister actually do that, or will Twister go for another frontal assault with the Shermans, which would in fact be to the advantage of TourneyofMaccaroni due to the Stugs actually being able to fight them? Then more probably, of course, the Tigers having the better armor there. So a bit quiet. Second supply upgrade up for Twister. That is good. That's going to help in the longer run with veterancy, although less troops to actually benefit from that at the moment. Needlewerfer unleashes another barrage of doom and gloom, and a recon run going in, going to spot out what it could be that TourneyofMaccaroni has lying about. It looks like another bombing run could get prepared. A Stormtrooper assault on the anti-tank gun did not quite go as TourneyofMaccaroni had hoped. Tiger fires away and does not quite hit either. Looks like one Stug though getting caught by the 2 Shermans. And we do see that TourneyofMaccaroni then pulls them a bit close. I think, no, he actually spreads them out and actually allows the Germans to focus down. One of the Stugs even gets the MG on the far left. Oh dear, oh dear. But then they actually pull away. Again, Twister proving a bit timid. Although in this case, he does have a bit more reason for being timid. A bit more reason for holding back. Pioneers getting sniped. And there we go. TourneyofMaccaroni is holding up. I mean, there is pressure being exerted again, but again, Twister is perhaps not resorting to the strategy or tactic that would most be beneficial. And a quick pardon on, of course, the technical difficulties. Stormtroopers on the far western flank. They have some Airborne in the targets. Come on, Heinz. Let's get these so-called Airborne. They're already walking on their feet. And there we go, the ambush sets in. One man already goes down, that is quickly replaced on the spot. Only to find himself caught by the Stormtroopers and summarily executed. Rockets continue to haunt the field. Could there be more veterancy? Yes, indeed, more veterancy on the way from the Kampfkraft Center of TourneyofMaccaroni on the Panzerlehr. Panzerdivision. And looks like another bombing run sets in. At a Stug, he had a nice target. Oh dear. Looks like Twister is slightly losing it. Looks like he is slightly losing it, I fear. Of course, it could be he only could see that due to the recon run, but hard to say.
Airborne, ready for duty.
Hard to say. Storm's going to move out on the flank. Could it be that TourneyofMaccaroni might be making another recon run? Twister clearly desperate for any knowledge he can gain about his opponent, any reconnaissance that can tell him more about TourneyofMaccaroni's dispositions, how he can then sort of course place his troops and hopefully counter anything going on there. But it is a dangerous game. He should definitely consider getting either more tank destroyers or some tanks. Possibly anti-tank guns. Neither of those things seem to be happening. Instead, he is getting something. It looks like he was able to get one of the Stooks. Small victory right there for Twister. Retains most of the victory points, in fact, and he's laying down a foundation for another machine gun replacement. We see the stormtroopers continue to stoke alongside the edges and can't get past that barbed wire. Yo, Heinz, we're supposed to be stormtroopers. Yeah? Why don't we have any wire cutters? Because some guys in Canada thought that would be overpowered. Oh, alright. Looks like he actually lost one of the needle werfers. I must have missed that. That's actually a bit of a shame, but there you go. But more rockets, and we do see Veteran 2 up. I believe it is Veteran 3 where they actually gain a damage bonus. And there we go, engineers hit right as they finish the machine gun emplacement. They get burned, singed, scorched. It looks like something collapsed. I can't quite see what it was. More recon run. Again, very desperate from Twister again to keep an idea what's going on there. Stormtroopers were spotted this time around. Pioneer sneaking up there. And getting as many supply drops as possible. And of course we do see that his space then becomes basically a graveyard for 30 calibers and mortars.
30 cal squad here.
Although we do actually see him grab several of them, actually stuff them one in some machine gun inflation to cover the flank of it, but also into the old barn up there. Basically he's going to be very desperate to cover his victory points. He wants to be able to, well, unload everything he can at any advancing infantry. Though he still has to reckon with the Tiger tank and its Sturmgeschützbatterie providing support fire. Assault up here quickly turns sour as an MG42. Now Veteran 2 opens up. Gets a few kills there. Tiger and Stug moving up the center. Looks like the assault might go in. Sherman Airborne on the flank, no recoilless rifles. They're going to be easy targets then for the Tiger. There we go, 2 down. Anti-tank gun dropping in. Other anti-tank gun still there. Could be actually reinforced, I think, from the air. But Stug's taking fire. Tiger taking a bit of fire, but largely not. The Shermans, on the other hand, are taking a bit. Victory points, though, continue to tick down for TourneyofMaccaroni. We are down to 68 victory points. Stormtroopers are launching up through the center. They could become easy targets for the sniper with 62 kills. My goodness. Depending on what side you're on, that man is either a war hero or a war criminal. Rather than continue up, getting suppressed by the heavy machine gun fire from the MG42 and the Stu-Fu 42 goes out, hit by the anti-tank gun. MG42 staying up at the flank. The Pioneers trying to sneak in there. They'll get stopped by the 30 caliber, and now the MG42 is next. We are seeing mortar fire going in. TourneyofMaccaroni actually got a mortar specifically for the purpose of trying to clear out the machine gun emplacement, which the machine gun is actually going down to the mortar rounds. Or it's the MG42 fire, which is largely not getting really touched by the 30 caliber due to the light cover and the elite armor. And oh dear, there we go, the machine gunner died. Now there's only one man left. And there we go, TourneyofMaccaroni's center has collapsed. He did not sufficiently prepare against an armored assault, or at least try to nip it in the bud. Instead, he is now a bit more exposed. And the 30 caliber in the barn is pretty much what is left. Sniper sneaking about those 63 kills. Anti-tank getting wrecked, and there we go, trying his best to hold the victory point. Trying his best to ensure it does not fall into the German sands, but it's a bit too late there. And the 30 caliber in the barn is getting burned out. Rockets fall down like rain, and that's definitely not rain though, of course, since rain usually does not leave a building on fire. MG42 remains over here. American troops are trying to take the central victory point, trying to move forward, and we do see what could be a bombing run. Yes, indeed. Doing a bit of damage, but overall, again, Twister's bombing runs just quite aren't getting there. It's a bit of a shame. It's a bit of a shame. I mean, he's used 750 munitions, but overall, the amount of damage done is quite limited. Anti-tank gun. And another anti-tank gun going to be wrecked by TourneyofMaccaroni's Panzerlehr Panzertruppen. Goliath, another Goliath. He's gotten so many Goliaths. And they've actually done something unlike the bombing runs. And there we go, a few riflemen were a bit too close and were flung towards the strategic point. And as the Hank draws his last breath, the last thing he sees is the Star-Spangled Banner waving above him and a Stug rumbling past him. But there we go, this very much looks like a situation where I don't think Twister can quite get out of there. Tiger and Stug there, there's only one Sherman, one anti-tank gun. Although we do see Rifleman going to make a bold move, trying to see if they can't sticky bomb the Tiger. And we do see TourneyofMaccaroni quickly pulling away. He does not want to risk that, but note how many units he has compared to how many units Twister has. I mean, that's a world of a difference. And it's not the sort of world that I fear Twister might be able to overcome.
Let's see how well they stand against us. Where do you want that?
But it's not a fire there. And looks like Twister's finally again moving his Shermans over to the flank. He should have probably done that when he actually had 3. Tried to hit TourneyofMaccaroni in the flank. And again, that's actually what got him so far, or at least long into this match. But again, then he seemed to just forget it. Which again is a bit of a shame. Anti-tank gun holding up the center. Not really the most solid of things. And the Stormtroopers moving in. More anti-tankers getting called in. 3rd Armor desperately requesting as much support to be called in to hold the front line. He cannot provide any more armor, apparently. And the sniper going to get spotted. Could the sniper finally go down? Could this audacious sniper, this sniper above all other snipers, no, he survives with 67 kills. Gott im Himmel. And Blitzkrieg, we see Blitzkrieg from TourneyofMaccaroni, but he's absolutely not Blitzkrieging. He's doing the exact opposite of Blitzkrieging. He's Sitzkrieging. He's sitting still doing nothing. Actually moves backwards. That's the most curious Blitzkrieg I've ever seen. MD-42 fires away. And there we go, the Tiger and the Stug 4 moves up. But again, perhaps he should then have used the Blitzkrieg instead of, before he did that. Just a casual suggestion. Whoops. Scream seems to be jumping about a bit. My pardons there. Sherman there in the center, they're coming under fire. Sniper, though. 69 kills. 69. I probably should not have repeated that, as I'm pretty sure there's some dirty-minded people who will enjoy that one quite a bit. But 70 kills. My God. He just keeps on killing while everything else of Twisters fall apart. And there we go, the Riflemen desperately try to get out onto the battlefield, but they are stopped by German Sturmgeschütz, German superior machinery. And yes, the Fatherland spits back at you. 71 kills in the sniper. He's not giving up, but he might soon be forced to, because the bike is clearly on the hunt. He is tired of that sniper killing his comrades.
Motorcycle spot here. Jawohl. Recon.
Looks so close, so close. Will the sniper get away? Getting past the fence. Looks like he will escape the bike once more. It's a bike. The spike. And once more the sniper gets away. The utter bastard. Indonesia coming under fire. Center falling. And a bit of fire going on there. Tiger taking heavy damage from his veterans of flee, of course. No veterans defeat for the infantry as of yet. Not a lot of infantry for that matter, so it wouldn't really do much of a difference. In fact, there's only a single stormtrooper squad, but they do have 24 kills. Airborne taking direct hits from the Nebelwerfers.
Pioneers have the point.
Should we crush them or shoot them?
We are losing territory. Enemy is down to 100 points.
And a bit of quiet. And Sniper reveals himself again. There's stormtroopers moving in. They will try to get him. The Sniper with the 72 kills. And looks like they will not succeed and will run off. The Sniper lives to kill again. Oh dear, what an utter bastard. Another stormtrooper squad being called in. The Sniper once more moves forward. Once more to kill Germans.
MG here. Fire here.
And there we go. Another man dead. 74 kills. Got some Nebelwerfer rockets. Far away, and there we go. Oh, MG was actually a bit close to getting the Sniper there, down to half health. Nebelwerfer barrage did pretty much nothing. Let us return to Twister. Quite a long fight indeed. I'll try and speed it up a bit, so it doesn't become quite as long. But either way, probably should have done that a bit earlier. But Stu here coming out of fire from Recaller's rifle fire. A bit redundant fire going on there.
Airborne.
Twister, though, is still hanging on. He clearly must expect some sort of victory, I suppose. Oh, mortar got the anti-tank gun. Sniper moves far forwards. Gets another kill for 75, 75. Stoogs are blasting away, and again, I mean, it's rather interesting how TourneyofMaccaroni just seems to be holding back. I mean, at this stage, you could probably just charge in and finish off Twister with a jackboot crunch. And there goes Stormtrooper hitting one flank, and there we go, the Sniper reveals himself. Will 76 kills, by the way. Come on, Stormtroopers, get the bastard. No, you're moving away. Dummkopf. And once more he escapes with 77 kills. This is the Sniper that should not be. 78. 78 kills. I don't think I've ever seen a Sniper with that many kills or any unit. 79. Christ. That man is a maniac. A danger to Germany. At this stage, he'll wipe out an entire company.
One shot, one kill.
Allies are down to 50 points.
Points are very much equal now. Another anti-tank gun drops in. Speeding things up again a bit. Very slow advance by TourneyofMaccaroni, but he seems in no rush. He does not want to take any chances. He does not want to throw this victory. 80 kills on the Sniper. 80 goddamn kills. And Pike moving in. Will he get the Sniper? Will he finally have sweet victory? No, the engine is on fire. And a Recaller's rifle gun gets him. Oh, so close to getting that infernal Sniper. Götterdämmung. Mortar's firing away. 20 kills in the mortar. How many, I wonder, on the Nebelwerfer? For 6 and 8. Well, not that many. Anti-tank gun sorted out. 81 kills. Playing a very dangerous game with the MG42. Stug moving up. Gets the mortar. He gets the mortar. The Stug was very close to getting him. And there we go. So close. So close. Pioneers moving in. They're going to try and, I think, help pinpoint the sniper.
Down to 24.
82, 82. And there we go, gets a Pioneer. He just keeps at it. He can't help himself. Even when in deadly danger, he just... I need to kill a Kraut.
Paratroopers on point.
And he gets the Pioneer. But the Stoog finishes him. The Stoog gets the kill. GG from Twister finally. With the sniper dead, Twister's will to fight, possibly even live, is broken. And there we go. Game over. Quite a long match. Quite a lot happening. I mean, at one stage I think Twister said, well, this is over in 15 minutes. I think it just took another 30 minutes at the very least. But quite the fight, quite a lot of things going on. I mean, we saw some very cautious play by TourneyofMaccaroni, slowly advancing but still doing quite a bit of damage. I think the problem with Twister was at some occasions he was simply too passive when he had a chance. I mean, he went for the armored car rush, but he never fully exploited it. He had some Shermans, but he never quite tried, again to flank, and that's a bit the problem. Twister really showed, he could do great when he flanked the enemy, but by the later stage of the game, that never quite came about. Instead, he played the rules by the German handbook, and of course, that rather favors the Wehrmacht and not the Americans. That was a bit of a problem. Plus all those bombing runs, they perhaps could have done with being a bit more well planned out. And of course, medic stations, medic bunkers, all that would have been good. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. If you did, why not subscribe? Tell your friends. If you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own? This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.